Hey, One Stop Co-op Shop fans, this is Mike, and today we're looking at JRPG, the tabletop adventure game from Fun to 11 Games. This is a game wholly inspired by old JRPGs and even kind of making fun of and parodying them at times. It's a lot of fun. I wanted to show you something kind of in the middle of the game instead of the beginning because that's when combat gets really interesting. The game does have a really fun Act 0 sort of tutorial that introduces you to all the characters and all the rules, and it just teaches you the game as you go. You never have to read a rule book. It's really smooth, really nicely done. But here I'm going to show you the middle of Act 1 leading up to a big boss fight. So we're currently on this island. We've just completed the second big battle in Act 1. We rescued two different people who are in love with each other at each battle, and now we're going to continue on. And just to show you, you'll see that the map tiles are randomized at the beginning of each of the acts. So although you will sometimes be forced to see things in certain order, like these printed ones on the board, these other things can happen in randomized order if you do happen to play the same act again. But I think the game, when it comes through on the Kickstarter, is going to have 3 acts, and you can kind of diverge with 3 different choices in each of the acts, so you can really find the path you want to go through to play the game. In the demo version, I only had a single Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, so that's what I'm showing you here. So we've got our little party of 4 adventurers. They're all JRPG tropes. You'll see them in a second. And after we introduce you to them, we're going to show you how kind of walking around on the adventuring board works and how grinding is. So our first character is Dylan, the fighter, and he's kind of a meathead, as you might imagine. Each character has 3 abilities, and these will level up and get upgraded as you go. So here he's got his basic super slash. It has varying levels of success and how much damage you do and all their special abilities on it. I also have NPCs that are linked to Dylan. That means that if I was playing with 4 different players, they would read their dialogue and also can have game effects. This is Max, one of the guys we rescued. He's planning to marry Dee Dee, another character you'll see, and that'll be significant soon. We've got equipment that is still pretty early on, so he's only got a hand equipment, but he could have gear for his head, body, and ring as well. He doesn't have a ring, but if he did, this token would go in his token bag, which you'll see soon, and give him other options. He's got some gold, and he's got some items. Right now, an apple, a dark embrace potion, and a sun crystal, which lets us level up if I get enough of them. He's also got his HP, 14, his magic, 5. Clearly he's not very focused on magic. And he's got these shadow tokens, but again, we'll see how all those work when we get into the game. So we've also got Gorky, our lovable rogue, who's obsessed with food, and she has similar stuff to what you saw with Dylan. And one thing I forgot to mention is that they all have these little aggro tokens that determine which monsters attack which heroes, so they each have their own ones of those. We've got Sourt, our deep, thoughtful little cleric. And yes, he does look like a black mage from Final Fantasy, but they've sort of switched the expectation and made him the cleric instead of the blasting wizard. And then finally we've got Kosh, our little wizard here, and her abilities, her equipment. She does have a ring, and so does Sourt. So whenever she draws that token, she'll get some bonuses. And she's linked to a very important NPC, the Beat Bird, which is kind of like our little Pikachu friend that follows us around. And he's one of our main ways of leveling up. If we get 3 sun crystals, we have 2 right now, we'll be able to level up. So hopefully I'll get 1 more so you can see what that looks like. Okay, in some acts you have more or less choice of where to go, but here we're just going to move forward up into M. And revealing the tile, you'll see that we got a 1 slime grind. Now, something I love reminds me of the old Earthbound game back in the day. You don't have to fight the basic enemies that you know you can defeat. It's all resolved very quickly using the grind system. Only the big, boss battles and major encounters are actually worked out with the battle board. So how grinding works, we draw the top card of the grind deck for the current act. And it's always fighting slimes, and you get a different little joke each time by the guy who accidentally created the slime. And we're going to look for the difficulty level of the slime we encountered. In this case, it is a level 1, so we're going to take 3 red dice. Those could cause HP damage to our heroes. 1 blue die could cause magic damage. 4 yellow dice can get us treasure. And then these guys will be resisted, the damage they do, using leaf icons, which, again, you'll see in just a second when we introduce the token bags. So I take the indicated dice, and I roll them. A quick note, by the way, that besides grinding, there's almost no dice rolling in the game. It's almost all bag drawing, which you'll see in a second. So if you hate dice, the game doesn't have very much of them. So what happens when you grind is you take away anything that is a 5 or a 6. This was kind of a bad result for me because I did lose 2 of my treasure dice. The remaining dice 1 through 4 are applied to my 4 adventurers. It's Dylan is 1, Gorky is 2, Sourt is 3, and Kosh is 4. So that means Dylan is getting 2 treasures and the possibility of 1 HP damage. Sourt is just getting potentially a hit point damage, and Kosh is just getting a magic damage, and Gorky got nothing. So before we resolve the potential damage, we draw the treasure cards. So let's draw 2 of them for Dylan. And oh, perfect. Okay, so we got our 3rd Sun Crystal. We'll be leveling up in a second once we finish resolving this. And then he also got another 150 gold. Now we still have to resolve our potential damage, and for that, each character has a token bag. So if you're playing solo like I am, you have to kind of deal with the 4 token bags, but if you're playing like 2-player or 4-player, you can divide them up. In here are a bunch of tokens. They will show 1 or more of the colored gems, which correspond with the different attacks people can do. They'll also sometimes have icons, which can be used in this case to resist. Remember, we need leaf icons to stop somebody from getting hurt. And they can also have other little bonuses on them, especially as you level up more. So I draw 1 token for each potential incoming damage. If I get a leaf, I cancel it. And here, oh, okay, Dylan did get a leaf. So this means that he is not hurt by that hit point damage. He just gets the treasure, and that goes back in his bag. But neither Sourt or Kosh was able to stop their damage from coming in. So they just roll down their little trackers here. Sourt's down to 7 health. And I didn't call this out, but their current level determines what their max hit points and magic are. And as you fight, you level up and get stronger, of course. And we do have healing potions and mana potions that can be freely used to restore these things. So depending on how much damage we take in grinding, just like in a regular RPG, you might want to use some of your potions before you go into the big fight. All right, now we have 2 choices of where to go. We have to stop at this little house to get to where the actual encounter could be, but we can go to either one of these. This one is kind of optional. Oh, no, I guess there's an arrow there too. So let's just do this one. But before we do that, let's show you what upgrading the Beat Bird looks like. So you level up in lots of different ways in JRPG. Your skills themselves can level up. Your actual level can level up. And that stuff tends to happen automatically. The sort of more randomized one in terms of what items you get is the Beat Bird leveling up. So you'll see this Beat Bird level 3 says spend 3 Sun Crystals to get 2 points of upgrade tokens, and then you upgrade the Beat Bird to the next level. So I have 3 Sun Crystals. I'm going to spend those. And this guy is going to go up to his next level, and we're going to get more powerful bags. So we get a new little version of the Beat Bird. Now he needs 4 Sun Crystals, and he's got a new quote each time. Nom nom burp nom. You can see he loved eating those Sun Crystals. We also get to upgrade with 2 upgrade points. So each character has these really nice upgrade boards. And you'll see I've already upgraded a few times, so 3 of my tokens in my bag have gotten stronger. But then for each upgrade point, I can either do one of these tokens that I have linked to a line, so I got to kind of work down a path, or past this little white divider here, I can do these more powerful upgrades, but those cost both my upgrade points. So that's the only thing I could do. And these give you some nice control over which abilities are better for your character. So I can either double down on things, and by the way, you can pick these up and see what the original was. So like here, I could make my green gem ability better for Gorky by getting 2 gems on this token instead of 1. But I can also do things that diversify my options and make it more sure I'm going to get something done. Like here, it went from a yellow and red originally to a yellow, red, and blue. So now my blue power is going to happen more consistently, although maybe not with huge effect as if I upgraded the green tokens here. And again, I can work my way down to these really powerful ones that like let me draw more tokens when I attack or heal every time I draw it. So there's really some awesome stuff down there, but if you do that, you're not getting as many tokens upgraded. So there's a lot of different options in kind of how you go with this. So we'll make you sit through all the choices for each of the 4 characters. I want to keep this video pretty quick, but just to show you that I do replace the old version with the newer version, so that comes out of my bag, and these go into my bag, slowly upgrading the options I have when I draw tokens. All right, so having shown you the basics, let's continue on. So I could go optionally over here, and that would let me get some more leveling potentially, but also maybe take some more damage. But let's take the more direct route up here to where the wedding I'm trying to get to is, and go over here. Okay, it's another 1 slime grind. So this time it's all mana damage, 3 blue dice and 4 yellow, and resisting with the little POW symbol. Same as before. Oh, nice. Okay, so this time we didn't lose any of our treasure. We just got rid of one of the mana ones. So Dylan's going to get 2 treasure cards and a magic. And by the way, the characters can freely trade their cards, so it's not like Dylan is getting more treasure than the others. They can all like share their gold and such. Okay, Dylan gets another Sun Crystal and some gold. Gorky gets some gold. And Sourt gets some gold. And lucky me, both characters managed to draw POWs, so neither of them actually takes any magic damage. Alright, so we could again go to this optional grind, and you can go back to grind spots if you want, but you roll 2 fewer treasure dice when you do, so you're mostly just going to take damage. So So here's, so there's actually an encounter. I can show you how this works. This is the inn, which is page 107. So in the full game, this is a reviewer copy, of course, but in the full game, every character is going to have one of these little books with all the encounters and things, because you're encouraged to kind of read the dialogue together and have fun with it. So in this case, we're at the Chubby Badger, and it says, link tavern owner to a hero. So we would randomly give the tavern owner to one of our heroes, and basically that means that player would be reading their dialogue, and also it sometimes has game effects, as I said. Hi, I'm Chrissy, the owner of the Chubby Badger, the finest tavern on the entire island. If you're not part of the wedding party, I suggest you don't sit too close. They are in a foul mood. Can I interest you in a game of chance? So I have an option here, gamble. The first time this place is visited, each hero may choose to gamble with up to 2 of their treasure cards. Each hero then picks a gem color and draws 2 tokens. If at least 1 gem of the chosen color is drawn, the hero draws an extra treasure card for each one gambled. If none of the chosen gems are drawn, they lose the gambled treasure cards. And then we keep adventuring after that. So just to keep things fast and fun, let's give Gorky, the tavern owner, and have her gamble both of her treasure cards here. And remember that she would know how she had leveled and which colors she's better at. Now, I don't know that because I'm just trying to play through the game and get the video and everything, but let's say yellow. So I'm going to draw 2 tokens and hopefully get at least 1 yellow. Okay, got a green, and hey, there we go, a yellow, so I win my bet. So I keep my 2 treasure, and I get 2 more, including another healing potion. And we'll stop there. All the players could gamble, but let's keep things simple and fast. All right, we have 2 M's to choose from, and let's see what this one is. Oh, we have found the boss and the wedding, 112. So a lot of the major story beats are like this, where you get like each of the main characters talking. And again, if you're playing with multiple players, the suggestion is that you like read your characters and do like a little voice and have fun with it. I love this as a former theater guy, but you could just have one player read it all or just read silently if your group is that sort of way.
That was such a wonderful wedding, Meow Meow, don't you think?
Love can blossom in the darkest of times.
And look at the amazing cake Miss Janet made. Good thing I'm hungry.
I gotta say, that is an impressive cake. But those cake toppers, they look a little off.
Friends, the cake is moving, Meow Meow. Is it supposed to do that?
I guess we have to cut the cake before we can eat it.
This could end up being a sticky situation. What? Don't I get to be funny every now and then? Let's crush this cake, boss.
And now Janet comes in, so whichever player was controlling her would read.
I don't feel so good, kids. Here, take this, friend.
And she gives me a special item, a chef's hat. Whoever's linked to her gets it automatically, so it looks like that's going to be Gorky. And then, again, the book does a nice job of, like, explaining all the rules to you and how things work. So, like, if the boss has new abilities, they explain them right here. But we'll see that in just a moment. Alright, so now we get to the real meat of the gameplay and the majority of this playthrough, and that's the combat. But some flavor text first. It appears that Janet's cake has some issues with it. It's got a good bake on it, but the toppers were an odd choice and do make it look like sort of a mess. The stem ginger comes through nicely, but it's just hard to get past the fact that the cake itself has been corrupted by the shadow. There's also a huge mouth full of dangerous teeth that you might want to check out as it's coming your way. So here's our boss. In a lot of fights, you'll have 6 separate enemies, but this is just 6 parts of one giant enemy. You'll see some basic things here that are key to combat. First, you've got the amount of life each part starts with. So you see they're all between 11 and 16. You've got their 3 possible attacks. So a lot of them will miss on the leftmost one, and then they'll do 1 or 2 damage. Some of them have special powers, like the flower eyes. After or when it attacks, it hits everybody in the back row. And then the legs will stomp people and move them to the back row, basically, so these ones all kind of combo together. You'll also see the initial preferred target. As I mentioned before, some of the linked allies will impact this. So in this case, whoever has the DD character linked to them will get attacked by the DD topper. And same thing for the Max topper with the Max character. And the rest will start with 1 each of the heroes. But every time we attack and deal damage, we'll put our own little aggro token on here, so we can change tactically who's being attacked if we want to. Now to start the combat, we get to place our characters wherever we want on these 6 spots. This is the order of activation, so it'll go kind of in that sort of an order with 1 through 6 activating. Sauert has by far the least defense of my character, so he can go there. And we'll have Dylan be up here because With him going last, that means that if he attacks the same guy as everybody else, then they'll aggro on him, and he'll be the one taking the damage, which should work out well for us. But don't forget the legs. When they stomp us, they're going to move us to the lowest empty number. So if Dylan gets hit by a leg, for example, he's going to go back there. We also shuffle this monster attack deck, and we are going to start with one card drawn so I can show you what they look like. So you'll see that we resolve the enemy attacks in kind of the opposite order of our attacks. So first the 3 enemies in the back, and then going up the 3 enemies in the front. And each one will show who they attack. Most commonly it's aggro, which means the person that's currently aggroed on them, but sometimes it'll say the one ahead of them, which would mean just the first hero in their row, or it'll sometimes say random, where you just roll for it. Additionally, it says which attack they do. So like this person right now would hit the DD linked character for 2 damage. This guy would miss entirely. This guy would stomp for 2 damage the person ahead of him, which would be Kosh. And that's just kind of generally how it goes. Now, additionally, very important because it's one of the ways to lose the encounter, you get the beat bird on the leftmost spot of this little track, and he will move across by effects you'll see soon. And if he reaches the end here, then we lose the fight and have to go back and try it again. And how that all happens is certain enemies on each card will be identified as becoming corrupted. You'll see that symbol right here. So we just put this marker next to this leg. And the basic idea is that whenever this part successfully attacks a hero, so not with a miss, they add a little shadow token to their bag. And if that shadow token is drawn, it gets taken out of their bag and they get to redraw, but that moves the beat bird 1 space. So we don't immediately move the beat bird when we get hit by these shadow guys. We just get these tokens seeded that we can do things to kind of prevent. But that's sort of waiting for us to move the beat bird forward. We additionally lose if everybody is knocked down and has lost all their health. In typical Final Fantasy-ish format, we do have items like feathers, basically Phoenix down, that can fully heal people. And Sauron has some healing abilities, so there are ways to bring people back, but just to note that you can lose by being knocked out or by the beat bird being totally defeated. But this card is discarded. We just start the round with at least 1 person corrupted, and we're going to draw 1 card after we've all acted each round. All right, I finished setting up by putting the life totals on each of the parts of the enemy. So let's jump right into combat. We're going to have a turn for Sauert, then a turn for Kosh, a turn for Gorky, and finally a turn for Dylan. Then we'll have the enemy attack. And we just go back and forth like that until we defeat all of the enemy's parts, or until we lose by corruption, or by all of us being knocked out. So Sauert is first, and let's just show you kind of a few specifics to walk you through how a turn works for a hero. So he's got 7 life and 11 mana. Mana can be used to power his abilities. He's got his shadow tokens if he gets hit by a corrupted monster. And he's got this little track for his tokens to go on as they get pulled from the bag. Whenever you get your 12th token pulled from the bag, you put him back in and shuffle again. But what this means is, while our first attacks will have a lot of variety in terms of what we might draw, and we don't really know what to predict, we'll be able to see what's come out of the bag. So if like a ton of red has come out early, we wouldn't want to do our red ability because it wouldn't be probable that we'd get a good result. So as I mentioned before, each ability will have a certain gem color they're looking for. So with the super heal here as an example, I would draw looking for yellows, and for each yellow gem I drew, I would heal a different amount of hit points from a hero. And you'll usually have little icon-based bonuses. So here, for each leaf I draw, Sauert, will heal 1 as well, while the target will heal with these things. It costs 3 mana, and again, you draw 3 tokens. And as a note, every character has a little mana refresh when they do have to cycle all their tokens. So Sauert's going to get 4 mana back every time that he goes through 12 tokens or more. His other option, his only real attack option, doesn't do that much damage, is Dazzle, which does 2, 3, or 4 damage, depending on the number of tokens drawn. And if I pay 2 mana when I use it, and I get at least 1 eye, I can put any player's aggro counter on the target I hit, so that can kind of really help me control who's being attacked. And then finally, Invoke Spirit lets me put these little blessing tokens in a character's bag, which they will act as, you'll see, they're kind of a wild any gem, and they also have this beat bird symbol that can heal from like fire and stuff, which isn't in this combat, or poison. But yeah, it's just like a nice kind of good blessing token to put into somebody's bag, and the better I get and the more little hand symbols I draw, the more tokens they'll get. Now, Gorky has the chef hat that the lady gave him, which says do not move the beat bird unless you draw 2 or more shadow tokens during a move. So it makes it very, very tough for Gorky to get that corruption for us. So with that, it makes sense that Gorky should be the one doing corruption, and if I'm going to put a lot of corruption on him, maybe I'll want to invoke Spirit and put some extra blessing tokens to make it less likely he'll draw that corruption. But I'm also going to have Dylan taking a lot of damage, and I have to assume that sometimes he'll get shadow tokens, and the chef hat will kind of protect Gorky anyway, so I think I'm going to try to bless Dylan as my first action. So it's super simple. I just shuffle up and draw 3 tokens. Again, I'm looking for the blue gems or the hand symbols. Okay, I got my key, a blue in a hand. Ooh, that was perfect. Oh my gosh, and 2 more blues. So that's 3 blues in a hand. Now the ring, sorry I call it a key, but the ring is matched by whatever my ring card is. So that's a generic token that's put in if you own a ring, which is no blues and no hands. So right now I've just got 3 blues in one hand, but it does heal 2 mana. And that's helpful because Invoke Spirit costs 3, so I've only lost 1 mana this turn overall. So I just roll this down to 10. I put the tokens I drew over here, which again lets me know that I'm not as likely to draw blues until I reshuffle those in. And so with 3 to 4 blues, I'm going to put 3 blessings in, but then I get an additional blessing for each hand I drew. So that's 4 of my 5 blessings go into Dylan's bag, which means I'm not going to really want to bless for a while until they come back out. Okay, next in order is Kosh, and just to show you her main abilities. She's got Blinding Strike, which is a melee attack, and all that generally means is, as it says here, you get +1 damage if you're attacking a monster in front of, a monster in the front of its row. So she does a decent amount of damage with this. And then for every little POW Starburst symbol she gets, she gains 1 mana back. She's only down 1 right now. Now she can also do Summon Vines, which hits 1 person, but if she gets Leaf tokens, it'll also hit the person behind them, so it could hit 2 enemies. And then Fireball's our big AoE attack. It uses 4 mana, but she does this much damage to everybody on the board, and for each eyeball she gets, she does +1, so she could hit everyone for a bunch of damage. Now in terms of targets, it does make sense to try to hit the person who's corrupted as much as we can, so we don't add those shadow tokens. And both of the legs are problematic in general because they move us out of position. But the flower eyes are kind of the nastiest thing. And you can hit anybody, by the way. The only difference, as you saw, is that a lot of melee abilities will deal bonus damage to the front enemy in a row. So yeah, I think for now I'm going to try to deal with this leg that's corrupted. It has 12 life. And since it's in the front, let's go and use Blinding Strike and try to hit it with the +1 bonus. So again, Kosh just draws 3 tokens. She's looking for green gems this time. And she gets everything except green. Okay, there's a green. No, that's a blue. And a yellow. Oh my gosh. So this is going to show off a special thing. It means that I missed entirely. And when you miss, none of the abilities are activated. So in this case, she doesn't get her little mana regeneration either. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Those blues are literally like her only miss symbols in her bags. That was I got rid of some bad tokens there, but still an unfortunate draw. All right, next is Gorky with the chef hat. Oh, and I forgot, Gorky has throwing darts, which means I would deal 2 damage to an enemy at the start of the encounter, randomly with a d6. So let's resolve that real quick, and it's the enemy in position 3, which is this leg. So it's down to 10, a little bit weaker. When Gorky has Hatred, this can hit anybody looking for blues. And this one, if you kill a monster with this attack and they have your aggro token, for every eyeball you draw, you deal 1 damage to every other monster. This one combos really well with Sourt's Dazzle. He can put a Gorky token on the guy right when it's about to die, and then Gorky can finish it off and just blast everybody. Sneak Stab is another melee one, so +1 damage to the front. And if they have Corruption, every hand you draw is another +1 damage. So I think I'm probably going to use this on the leg, which is corrupted. And the death rate's pretty great. You deal a whole bunch of damage, but it's completely randomized damage, except that for every starburst you draw, you get to assign 2 of the damage, but otherwise you just roll d6s and put it wherever it ends up, even on enemies that aren't there anymore, and it misses completely. But like I said, I think Sneak Stab on that leg makes a lot of sense here. So I'm drawing 3, looking for greens. There's a blue in a hand, a red and a leaf. Oh my gosh, and a yellow and a starburst. So again, the hand symbol I drew does not apply, so I just completely whiff on that attack too. Not a great start. All right, so Dylan is up. You're my only hope, buddy. And it does say with his power band item at the start of each encounter, I draw a token. That'll be the first token I draw, so I can kind of predict a bit of what my first attack will be like. In this case, he's going to start with a red and a green. So I know I can do Super Slash or Drain Blade and have no chance of missing. So looking at my abilities, pretty straightforward because he's the fighter. This does a ton of damage and +1 if an enemy's in the front. Bash is sort of a later game ability because I do +1 damage for every starburst that's already on the mat or that I draw. So if I use it like near the end, I could get like +3 or 4 damage. And then Drain Blade uses most of my magic, but it does a ton of damage and also heals me as much as the damage I did. So later on when I'm hurt from tanking a bunch, that could be a great one. So I'm actually going to switch targets for Dylan. I don't really mind that the Beetberg is attacking Gorky because, again, even though she'll give her a shadow token, Gorky has the chef's hat, so shouldn't be in too much danger from that. Instead, if you see, the mouth has only 11 health and does 2 or 3 damage and never misses generally. So I think Dylan, first of all, wants to tank that big damage instead of Kosh, and also wants to hurt that thing and get it close to being defeated. So with him already having a red drawn, I think I'm just going to go for the Super Slash and draw 2 more, looking for reds. Okay, and he gets, we got one of the blessing tokens. Remember, that's every symbol, so that is a red. And then I got another red, so that's 3 reds. So that is 5 damage plus 1 when targeting an enemy in the front, which this mouth is. So that is 6 damage from this one attack. So that more than half damages the mouth. Feeling great about that. And remember, every time that you damage an enemy, you place your own aggro token there. So now Dylan is the mouth's primary target, which is fine with me. He's got a lot of life. And a quick little note, the blessing tokens go immediately back to Sourt. They don't stay on the track over here. All right, with all of us having gone, we now draw a monster attack card. And we just go down. But first, we do place any new corruptions. So now the Max Topper on top is also corrupt. That's not great. Okay, so the DD Topper misses. The Flower Eyes hit their aggroed target for 1. But remember, this actually hits everyone in the back row, which is kind of good for us. It's only Sourt, so he'll go down to 6 life. The Leg will hit for 2 its aggro target, which is currently Dylan. So it does unfortunately mean that he's getting shoved back here. And he's down to 12. The other leg will hit its aggro target, which is Gorky for 2. Brings her down to 9. Because it's a shadow enemy, I'm also adding a shadow token in here, so now she could draw that later. She gets pushed to the new lowest available one, so now the Flower Eyes are looking really dangerous, as they'll hit all of us. The mouth hits whoever's ahead of it, so not its aggro target, Dylan, for the rightmost, which is 3. Now, luckily, that is still Dylan, because that's the one ahead of it, but man, that's a lot of damage. So Dylan is down to 9, making that Drain Blade look more attractive. Then finally, the Max Topper would aggro to Dylan, because he's the one linked to Max. But here it's also in ahead for 1 damage, which goes on Sourt, bringing him down to 5 life. Oh no. And this is one I had not prepared for. Sourt is now going to have a shadow token as well, because that's another corrupted monster. So now we're back to the hero turn. Sourt's going to go first, then Dylan, then Gorky, and then Kosh, because of the new order we've been shoved into. So for Sourt, I'm kind of thinking maybe he'll dazzle the mouth and put Gorky's token on it, and then Gorky can try to do Hatred on the mouth and hit everybody for some damage. That would be a nice little combo. And then Dylan can just try to smash either the leg or the topper, try to get one of those weakened so we can get rid of the corruption. Gorky can do what we already said, and then Kosh can hit whoever's already damaged by Dylan, I guess. So yeah, let's try Dazzle. We've only drawn blue so far, so our chance of getting a red is pretty high. Now let's hope we don't get the shadow token Sourt just put in here. Pretty low chance, but it's possible. Oh, and we did. Oh no, so the birds are going to move 1. Now this does get taken out of the bag, and I do get a replacement, so it doesn't actually hurt my attack. Okay, so I got another great one for blessings, but not going to help here. And another blue and a yellow. Okay, we got a single red. But sadly, even though we spent the 2 mana to set up the possibility of placing one of Gorky's tokens on the guy, we needed an eyeball for that to happen. So all we're doing is 2 damage to the enemy. Don't forget the Beetbird moves forward 1. Really terrible luck there. But this guy's down to 3 life. And although it probably won't matter, Sourt is now the target of that mouth. All right, now coming to Kosh, she could do a Blinding Strike to try to finish off the mouth, or she could summon some vines to hit the mouth and the eyes behind it, or just fireball everything. But note that we already got yellows and reds and no greens, so a Blinding Strike seems like our best option here. And I think she'll go for finishing off the mouth, and Gorky can focus on hitting somebody else. Okay, so looking for greens. We got 1 of them. And then a yellow in a hand, and then her ring. And her ring for her is 2 greens a hand and healing 1 damage. But she's already at her max of 10, so that's not going to matter. Yeah, we definitely got 1, 2, 3 greens. That's 5 damage plus 1. We totally overkilled this mouth here. So bam, there it goes, and our aggro doesn't matter anymore, and you can mark it with a little defeated token just to make it obvious that it's not acting. Oh, crud, I just realized that Kosh is actually last. All right, well, we'll just have Dylan and Gorky do other things, but yeah, sorry, I should have checked the player order before I did that. Oh, well, speaking of Dylan, I like that the leg is already targeting Gorky, so I'm going to have Dylan try to start finishing off the Max Topper, which is the other corrupted enemy. And he drew red and green already, and also has 2 POWs already on the board, so he could try to do a bash, and if he gets... Now, the thing is, he has to get at least 2 tokens for it to be effective, but if he does, he'd get +2 damage automatically, plus however many other POWs we drew. So yeah, let's try that out, and let's gussy it a little bit. He has this apple food item from a talking tree that I met earlier. I can discard this before I do a move to draw an extra token, so that means I'm going to draw 4 this time instead of 3. And hopefully with the blessing still in his deck, that will help him do pretty well here. So we're looking for blues, and we're drawing 4 tokens. Oh man, and oh my gosh, okay. So we've got 2 blues there, none there, but then 2 blessings, which again are both also blues. So that is 5 damage, +1 because the guy's in front, so that's 6, and then +1 for every POW on the tracker that we just drew, which is only 2. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8 damage total, although he is pretty much out of blessings now from Sourts. So all right, Dylan, we love you. You're just bringing the pain. The Max Topper is down to 5 life. Let me place a little Dylan marker there to show who it's targeting. And I'm going to have Gorky attack and try to finish it off for 2 reasons. Number 1, it'll make Gorky the target again, which is what I want for as many of these guys as possible with the corruption, because Gorky's got the chef's hat that kind of protects us a bit. But then number 2, hopefully I'll get lucky and just finish it off completely. So with my failure of last time fresh in my mind and no greens on my board, let's go for another sneak stab, which I'll remind you gets +1 damage because the guy's in front, and potentially plus more damage because they are a corrupted creature. So... Alright, I get 2 blue. That's not going to help. Ah, there's at least 1 green, and no flowers yet. No hands. Okay, and another green. So I was going to be just shy. We've got 3 damage for 2 greens being drawn, but I didn't get a single hand. Even 1 would have given me the 5th damage I need, because it's already 4 with it being a melee attack. And that does bring Gorky's mana down to 5. And the Max Topper is mad at Gorky with only 1 life left. And then now Kosh would have attacked and defeated that guy, so we have kind of everything back in order. Let's draw our monster attack. At first, you'll see that there is a corruption marker on this leg, but it's already corrupted, so we don't add another one. So as the battle progresses, the corruption doesn't necessarily get too much worse. So our first attack this time is on whoever is held by Didi for 1 damage. That's going to be Sourt. Bring him down to 4. We got to heal this guy soon. The flower eyes are going to do random, but it doesn't matter because they target everyone in the back, but it is their worst attack. So they're going to do 2 damage to everyone except Kosh. That brings Sourt down to 2 life. Okay, aggro for the leg. That's 2 damage to Dylan. That brings him down to 5. Now here's a really worrisome one. A random roll for 2 damage with the other leg, and this is a corrupted leg, so it's going to be random who gets the shadow. And here we rolled a 2, which luckily is Gorky, who we wanted anyway. Brings Gorky down to 5. And she will get a second shadow, but remember, the only way this will apply and move the beat bird is if she draws both of them in the same attack. Pretty low odds there. And then finally, a nice little ending. The guy who's dead would attack, but he's dead, and the guy who's about to be dead misses, so no attack for him either. All right, well, Sourt's got his healing cut out for him, so he's definitely going to try to heal himself this turn. I'm definitely going to save the killing blow on Max Topper for Gorky. She can use her hatred attack, finish that guy off, and also do damage to everyone else. And I suppose Dylan and Kosh will try to attack and defeat this corrupted leg. All right, going to Sourt, I'm going to use my super heal on myself. Unfortunately, we do have some yellows out already, so my odds aren't as good, but still pretty decent. This costs 3 mana, so that brings him down to 5. And he draws a yellow. Great. And another yellow. Awesome. And for each leaf, he heals another one. So he's got 2 yellows plus 1 from the leaf. So 1 to 2 yellows is 4 healing, and then the leaf will give 1 more. So that's 5 healing overall. That brings him back to 7, just 1 below his max. So pretty good there. Next is Dylan, getting the attack order right this time. And he is certainly going to do a Drain Blade attack. Did forget to spend 1 mana for my bash last turn, and then Drain Blade spends 2 more, so Dylan's already almost out of mana. So he's looking for green. Not loving my odds since I already have 2 of them out, but hopefully there are some more. Okay, so we get, yes, green, and nothing, and a lot of blue. Okay, so only a single green. So I deal 3 damage plus 1, and then if I draw any leaves, which I didn't, I would heal extra. But I am dealing 4 damage and healing 4, so that's pretty great. Brings Dylan back up to 9. Much more comfortable place to be. And I'm dealing 4 damage to our corrupted leg. Let's trade out a easier to see die there. And Dylan becomes this new aggro target. Take that. Okay, Gorky's going to try to finish off the max topper, and don't forget, she only needs to do 1 point of damage, but for every eye she draws, she'll do a 1 damage to every other enemy on the board. And that's specifically because the max topper has her aggro right now, so we only need a single blue and then as many eyes as we can get, hopefully. Okay, there's a blue, great, but no eyes. Another blue, but no eyes. I don't need any more damage. No eyes at all. So all we do is finish off the guy. We don't get to do any special things because I haven't leveled up enough, I guess, to get more eyes yet. But we do defeat the max topper, and that takes away one of the corrupted enemies. So that's pretty great there. The only thing I realized I messed up is that now Dylan is the target of the corrupted leg. But Dylan does have this potion that lets him take a bunch of damage when he draws a shadow token instead of me moving the beat bird. So maybe it's okay if he takes one shadow token because I have that in reserve. So with that in mind, let's maybe have Kosh go for a fireball hitting everyone, and then she can choose where her aggro token goes, so she can still deal some damage to all these people without specifically making the leg want to come get her. So she's looking for reds and eyes, so no help there. There's a red, good. Oh, and there's an eye. So 1 to 2 reds is 1 damage to everyone, but for each eye, it's another 1, so we're dealing 2 damage to every monster, and then I can put my aggro token on any of them. It does cost 4 for mana, by the way, so she's down to 6. Alright, so there's all of her 2 damage done, and who does she want to aggro? So this one's fine. She's actually got the most life of anyone, and Dylan's got 2 people aggroed on him. Oh, but Sourt has 2 people aggroed on him as well, so let's go ahead and make the DD Topper go after her instead of Sourt. Alright, monster attack. That Flower Eyes is really worrying me with all the damage it's going to do to all of us right now. Wow, nobody misses, and we've got a corruption on the other leg now, although it is pretty weak, luckily. Okay, so the DD Topper is going to do a random 1 damage. And here it's coming to Gorky, putting her down to 4. The Flower Eyes are doing 1 damage. The random doesn't matter because that would only be for the corruption token, but it is hitting all 3 of us again. And most of us are okay, but Gorky's down to 3 life now. And could be down to less because it is random who will get the 2 damage. And it's another corrupted random. Oh no. And it is 4. Oh, it's Kosh. She has the most life, but I don't want her to have shadow tokens. Then finally, our last living enemy does 2 damage to the person ahead of him. Oh, Kosh again, and another shadow token. Oh my gosh. Well, that was unexpected and not great. Oh, man. So I'm really not sure what to do with my turn here. Because I want to heal Gorky, who could die with 1 bad hit. She's only got 3 life. But I also really want Sourt to bless Kosh, because Kosh now has 2 shadow tokens in her bag and nothing to do with them, unlike Gorky and Dylan. So some extra blessings would make her odds a lot better. Well, I will say that Gorky is not the aggro target for anybody right now, so except for the eyes, it's unlikely she'll get hit, so let's take a chance and do the blessing. So that's going to use 3 of Sourt's remaining 5 mana, and a lot of blues are already on his board, so hopefully he'll still get some more. So he's looking for blues and hands. No help there. Oh no, no help there. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, blues were most of the things out on his board, so I was kind of taking a dumb chance there. Oh man, look at all those yellows. It would have been able to heal a ton. So on 0, I still get to place 1 token in Kosh's bag and help her out a little, but yeah, I was certainly hoping for more. Just a quick note that Sourt has reached his 12 or more tokens. So he's going to recover 4 mana, bringing him back to 6. And everything's going to get shuffled back in, giving him new odds for his draws. Now, he does have an item as well, Healing Herbs. Whenever I refill my bag, I can use a potion with the effect going to any hero. So I'm going to go ahead and use a healing potion to get Gorky to 4 life instead of 3. All right, it's Dylan's turn, and he's so clearly going to try to smash this leg out of existence. Looking at his options here, he's gotten very few of his basic red slash results, and he's also basically out of mana. So, yeah, I think he'll just go ahead and do a regular super slash. All right, he gets a red. Great. Another red. Oh, my gosh. Oh, and a blessing. That was his last one. So that is 3 reds. So that's 5 damage, plus 1 for being in the front. So we just smash this guy in one go. That was unexpected, but certainly not unwelcome. All right, as for Gorky, let's see. So she has a bunch of green, a bunch of blue, but almost no yellow. But yellow's the weird one that hits people randomly, and with half the enemies dead, I have a decent chance of a lot of it just missing. But I think I still have to go for it just because that seems like the most likely thing I'll draw. Here we go. Wish me some luck. All right, so I got a shadow token, but that's okay unless I draw 1 more. And I didn't. Awesome. So that actually gets discarded, and now she only has 1 shadow token in her bag. That's why the chef's hat is so great. So to get 1 yellow, and I'm also looking for POWs. I got another yellow and 2 POW symbols. That's you have one for each ability that's kind of like keyed to it and is really good for it. So this is awesome. I got 2 yellows, which means I'm doing 6 damage. Because of the POWs, I can choose where 4 of that damage goes, and only 2 of it will be random and might miss. So certainly we're going to try to finish off that leg. Then I roll for the other 2 damage, but only a 1, 2, or 3 will actually do anything. Oh, awesome. So both these guys go down 1. And now I do roll for a random aggro token, and I got a 2. So, okay, the flower eyes are targeting Gorky. That's not a big deal. Now I really want to defeat this leg before it has a chance to corrupt us again. So here goes Kosh. This is her most dangerous time because she's got 2 shadow tokens in her bag, and her bag's close to empty because of all this stuff, but she does have Sourt's 1 blessing helping her. And she has drawn very few green, and that's exactly what I want, to just blast that leg and finish it off. All right, so wish me luck. Now, by the way, if she happened to draw both of her shadow tokens, it's actually a good thing because the beat bird only moves 1 no matter how many you draw, but they're all taken out. So I'd rather her draw 2 tokens than just 1. Ah, crud. Instead, I got just 1. And I do have to draw again. Okay, so she is safe there. In terms of a result, looking for greens. Oh, man, I only got 1 green. Although she does recover a mana for that. So that brings her up to 7. And oh my gosh, what a terrible result. So now she did 1 damage, and she's going to be the target to become even more corrupted. And our beat bird is now 1 away from defeat. A single shadow token that we can't prevent, and we are done. Okay, the enemy attacks. And oh man, okay, the eyes are now corrupted. Now, a good thing is that it is going to target Gorky, and again, she's the one who's best able to deal with this. Okay, so aggro, that means that Kosh is going to take 1 damage. She's down to 5. And then everyone except Kosh is going to take 1 damage, and Gorky will gain a new shadow token, and then the leg will miss. So basically everyone takes 1 damage, Gorky gets a shadow token. And I forgot to say, both Gorky and Kosh reached 12 tokens, so Kosh is regaining 11 mana, back up to her max. And Gorky's regaining 6, close to her max. Okay, so a quick shadow check. Dylan has no shadow tokens, but if he got one, it wouldn't hurt him, because he's got the card that can prevent it. Gorky's got 2 in there, but we're probably safe, because she would have to draw both of them in one go. Sourt has none. He's fine. So Kosh is really the worry right now. She's got 1 of them in there, but that 1 could finish us off. So I've got 2 ways to potentially deal with that. I can try to bless her more and make it really unlikely I'll draw it, or I could just have her use a potion on her turn and not act at all, and that way I have no chance of drawing it, although that is taking away one of my attacks for the turn. I'm going to try to be optimistic about my luck and do the blessing and put a bunch of tokens in her bag. Well, hopefully a bunch. I'm looking for blues. There's 1 blue. And oh, great, another blue. And we're also looking for hands for bonuses, but didn't get any. So 2 blues is 2 more blessings in her deck. That'll help. That leaves Sourt with 3 mana left. All right, let's see. Dylan has drawn a ton of blues and a good mix of reds and greens. So he could either go for green or for red. Green tends to do a little bit more damage, but would use up all of his mana. He doesn't really need the healing. So I think I'm going to have him do a red attack on the flower eyes, the corrupted one that's targeting Gorky right now. And I get 1 red, good. And another 1, awesome. So that's a 2 red. So that's going to do 4 plus 1 more, 5. Brings this nasty customer down to 8 life. And Dylan's now his target. And Dylan's going to be reshuffling, so gets back up to 4 mana. All right, Gorky's definitely going to stab the flower eyes as well and try to do the Steak Stab that can do extra damage when they're corrupted. It's going to bring her down to 4 mana. She's looking for greens and for hands. Okay, she got a hand. She got nothing. Okay, and there's a green. So it's 2 damage, plus 1 for being melee, and plus 1 for the hand she drew. That brings the flower eyes down to 4. And then Kosh, maybe it's unwise, maybe it's foolish, but she's going to try to, I think, attack with a fireball and hopefully finish off that 1 leg, and then also do some damage to those guys. Come on, come on. No shadow. Good, good. Yes, okay. Now, did she actually hit? Oh, awesome. She got... Oh, no, it's not a special one for her fireball, but it works out well. So fireball wants eyeball. That's plus 1 damage. And then 1 to 2 tokens is also 1 damage. So that's going to be 2 damage to everybody. That finishes up our corrupt leg here. Leaves the flower eyes with only 2. And the DD Trooper we haven't been hitting much with 9. And just put her aggro on somebody. Let's put it on the DD Topper because we don't want the flower eyes to add even more shadow to her bag. All right, let's see the attack. I hope that doesn't become corrupted. No, it doesn't. Well, it is 2 random damage, so it's hitting... Uh-oh, it's Gorky. That leaves her with only 1 hit point. And then, oh no, the flower eyes are going to hit somebody random. Now, again, it hits everybody. It's gonna knock out Gorky. But the other negative thing is that the corruption's going to go to whoever's randomly hit. And it is... Okay, also Gorky. That's good. So Dylan's down to 5. Sourt's down to 3. Now, the negative being knocked out is that Gorky's not going to get a turn until I think Kosh has my feather, so that can revive him. But because she's acting after Gorky, it means that Gorky will miss their turn this turn, but we'll get a turn next time. And that's actually good in 2 ways, because that means Kosh won't have to attack, although I am putting kind of all the burden of attacking on these guys. So let's have a Sourt try to defeat the Flower Eyes. Even his weak attack should be able to do it. And then Dylan can go just ape on this DD Topper. All right, so come on, Sourt. All you need is a single hit with your little Dazzle Rod there. I'm looking for a red. And yes, I got it. Okay. Oh, a couple reds. All right, I'm cutting this one really close. The Flower Eyes are defeated. No more damage to everybody. And at the moment, no corrupted enemies at all. But I still need to finish off this DD Topper without either of these guys drawing any of their shadow. Although, luckily, Gorky won't draw this turn because her turn's getting skipped, and Kosh is going to use an item, so her turn's getting skipped too. But first, let's see how much damage Dylan can do. Let's see. I mean, Drain Blade and Super Slash are pretty similar, so let's just do the Super Slash again. So for some reds, we got 1 red, a bunch of blue, and oh man, a bunch of more blue. The bash would have been good this time. So a single red plus the 1 bonus, that's just 4 damage. It does almost finish off the DD Topper. Dylan's got the aggro, I like that. Gorky's turn gets skipped, sadly. Then Kosh, instead of doing an attack and maybe finishing us off with a shadow token, is gives you a feather to revive Gorky to 4 hit points. Back in the action, baby. All right, this will be a quick enemy turn. No corruption, so it's just 1 damage to Dylan, bringing him down to 4. All right, so if Sourt and Dylan can do the 5 damage, we don't have to worry about Gorky and Kosh drawing anything. All right, Sourt, let's see you dazzle us again. We only need 5 damage total. Looking for reds. No, yes, and no. So that's just 2 damage. So the final monster is at 3. And Dylan did not draw green yet, so let's try our best odds and go for green with the Drain Blade. And come on. Not a green. Yes, a green. Oh no, another one. So that is 3 greens. That is 6 damage plus 1, 7. Totally destroys the DD Topper. By the way, in a nod to fun, if you defeat the monster the same turn that you get defeated, so like if Gorky killed the DD Topper but drew the shadows to advance the Beat Bird, you still win the encounter. You can finish them off with like that final blow. And hey, we never got to see what Kosh's item did. After an encounter, if you have 1 or more shadow tokens in your bag, oh yes she does, she gets to draw a free treasure, so 150 gold for her trouble. Then we go back to our story after defeating them. This is Evil, who we saw earlier. It's kind of like Chaos if you have played Final Fantasy before.
You may have defeated the cake boss, but now I'm more powerful than ever. Blah ha 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 ha.
Exit Evil, enter Janet.
This encroaching evil must have cursed my wonderful wedding cake. I knew that you would need my enchanted hat to keep the shadow at bay. Looks like you did a great job. Can I have my hat back now?
So we do lose our hat. Okay, and then Dee Dee, the wife who just got married.
Thanks so much for your help, kids. Not only did you save the day, you also saved our presents. We are headed off to 3 Moon Island for our honeymoon now, but here, take these perfectly cooked murder mushrooms. I know you're going to love them. As a wedding gift, Janet gave us her special murder mushroom recipe, and I included a copy for you as well. As you continue your adventure, you should be on the lookout for more mushrooms. They are truly special the way she makes them. Goodbye, kids.
So we'll stop there. We do get some dialogue leading to the end of the adventure. We get some new items, murder mushrooms, which are kind of a cool resource you can use to make your abilities more powerful. And it gives us instructions for saving. If we had the full version, we could pick 1 of 3 acts to continue into. But, here for the demo, we only have 1. But yeah, that's how the game generally goes. Hope you enjoyed JRPG. Check out my review of the demo, and we'll see you at the next stop.